Good afternoon, students. I'm Dr. Tiana Vivier, and I'm the module coordinator for ECD 101. So the purpose for this presentation is to give more information regarding your assignment 2. Up to date, we are still in the process of planning and redeveloping and re-looking and revisiting all the assignments and assessment dates. So as soon as they are available, I will inform you on the ECD page. So the purpose of this assignment is to look at the improvement of early childhood education and care in South Africa. I always tell the students that an untrained teacher is a form of abuse, and I think it's very important, especially within the field of early childhood education, as we often see that teachers are not qualified to be working with young children. And I think it has to do with the notion that these children are only playing. And yes, a child learns through play, but at times play must also be meaningful and it must be planned. So when we look at your assignment, it is going to have a part A and a part B, both being academic essays. So please make sure that you refer to your reference guide as well. So your assignment with part A is an essay of 800 to 1,000 words, and it has to do with a quote by Maria Montessori. Early childhood education is the key to the betterment of society. And I think the next quote is sort of the summary of the first part of your assignment. The most important period of life is not the age of university studies, but the first one, the period from birth to 6. And the question there is, but why? Why is this period from birth to the age of 6 so important? So the answer to that question you will have to do in this part of the essay that deals with you discussing the importance of early childhood care and education for the child's holistic development, lifelong learning, and preparedness for formal schooling. Also in this essay, you need to go and discuss how a quality program can impact society positively, and also a reflective discussion on why you have chosen a career in early childhood education. So when we start off with our assignment, it is important that you do your introduction. So when we do the introduction, you are going to take those guidelines in your assessment guide or in the previous slide, and you have to go and reword them to form your introduction. So when we look at your introduction, it is good to start with a wow element, something that will capture one's attention. So there I started to say that greatness starts early, and it's important that we must foreground the field of early childhood education. And then I went on to say, in this essay I will address, or you can say, in this essay I will discuss. And then I took what is in the assessment guide and just briefly listed it there. You can see that I said that I will address the importance of early childhood education and its contribution to preparing the child for lifelong learning. I didn't put everything, just one little thing. Furthermore, the impact that a quality early childhood education and care program can have on future learning will be explored. And then I also ended to say that I will go and discuss why I have chosen this career. So this is almost like a little recipe for you to follow to make sure that you did write a good introduction. So the first part there is that you need to go and discuss why is early childhood important. If we look at holistic development, if we look at lifelong learning, and if we look at preparing the child for formal schooling. And I think when we look there, it's important because early childhood care and education is important because it is going to unlock a child's potential. By the age of 5, almost 90% of the child's brain will be developed. These are the formative years, and all other learning that is going to happen in formal schooling is going to be built on what happened now. And this part is where we are at, where we are playing an important role in. And whatever is going to happen now is going to influence a child as an adult later on in life. We can also say that all complex behaviors are going to be laid down now. And I always make use of the example of if a child is now 3 years old. We know they are very egocentric. So as an educator, it's my role to teach that child to share. And if the child doesn't learn that, they are going to go to grade 1, still not sharing, still not waiting their turn, and they will end up being an adult that no one likes because it will still be me, myself, and I. Another reason why early childhood care is important is because we can do intervention much earlier. If we do intervention earlier, we can minimize the problem, we can overcome the problem, and the child will be able to cope in formal schooling better, or they can adjust in life better on. I want to use the example of Play-Doh. So now we have the Play-Doh, and this is now the child's brain. And now we see that this child at the age of 3, this child is not talking. I know the developmental milestones, and I see that this child is not talking. I advise the parents go to a speech therapist, the child is going for speech therapy, and the brain is still very soft, so I can mold it. As to the child being in grade 1, now the grade 1 teacher picks up that this child has a language problem, and now it's a bit harder to mold this Play-Doh. You guys know how Play-Doh gets when it's out? Now it's a bit harder to get to mold it. It also has to do that we can also work with this child. We can provide them stimulating environments and plan age-appropriate activities that will help them in their future learning. The second part has to do with a discussion on how a quality early childhood education and care program can impact society in a positive way. And when we look there, it has to do with Potgieter, who mentions that children who receive a good foundation are more likely to succeed in school. And I think if this was a quality program, the child would have been exposed to more education. So it is obvious that they are more or better equipped to succeed in school. It also has to do that research has shown that children who did not receive any early education are more likely to struggle with substance abuse and delinquent behaviors in their early adult years. And that can be ascribed to the fact, if we look at psychology, that behaviors are formed within these first 5 to 6 years of life. A quality program doesn't only mean the child it also means the community and the parents and the caregivers, that they can be educated on how to help children and how to be part of the school, say for instance, to come and do a talk on different cultures. This assignment is really about you being a bit reflective and reflecting back on what you have learned. So, apologies there for that little hiccup. My toddler was knocking on the door. So yes, so in the last part, it has to do with a reflective discussion. And there you need to say about why did you decide to come and study this field of early childhood education and care, if you are in the higher certificate or foundation phase if you are enrolled for the degree. And please be honest. Be honest. We are not going to mark you down for writing, "My parents said so," but we will mark you down if you said, "This was my passion." You must be reflective. You need to elaborate more about why did I decide to go into this field, because I never wanted to be a teacher. That was the last job that I thought of doing. But after working with children for a year, when I au paired, I realized that I'm fascinated with their development. I realized that every day is something new. And it is a rewarding job, and I want to continue with that. So be honest. And then the conclusion. Please remember that with your conclusion, it's not the end. You need to now give a little summary of what your assignment is about. In this assignment, I addressed this, this, and this. Therefore, early childhood education and care must be foregrounded if we want to impact the future. So ladies and gentlemen, with that said, that is your part A of your assignment. I think what is important is that the first part must be about, do you understand why ECD is important? It is important because the key brain pathways are being formed. Everything that we are doing now will have an influence or will influence future learning. If I did not use words like more or less, before, after with my 4-year-old now, then they are going to battle with maths in grade 1. What number is before? What number is after? If I do not do early intervention now, and intervention is only done in grade 3, it's going to take so much longer. If we do not identify developmental delays now, it will have an effect on a child's life later on. And then about the quality of a program to society. It has to do that the child will be equipped with the knowledge and the values and the skills that they need for later on in life if they are in a quality program. Then you have to go and do what did research say? Research said that children who had exposure did do better in maths and reading. Maybe a good program can support the poor literacy skills in our country. They also said, research said in America, and I did post a link for you on the page, that children who were enrolled are more exposed to school, and the graduation, the pass rate is more. So go and research a bit about that. And then just some technical aspects. Yes, you are more than welcome to put a nice cover page with a picture on it. You are more than welcome to do that. If you want to put a table of contents, you are welcome to do that. But please remember to not use headings in this assignment. Do not say introduction, body, conclusion. If this is your first paragraph, we will know it is your introduction. If this is your last paragraph, we will know it is your conclusion. And also, do not make words bold or so on, and make use of your referencing guide that you received. So this was in short the overview for your ECD Assignment 1 Part A, and I will also do another one on ECD Assignment 2 Part B. Keep well and keep safe. If you have any other queries, please contact your relevant CL lecturer. Keep well. Bye.